This is the accusation. They're throwing around the word treason.
I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016.
They're saying that Obama knew that Russia did not meddle in the election, did not have any impact.
Barack Obama was once seen as a symbol of hope, but now his legacy is being questioned, and Joe Rogan isn't staying quiet. Known for his blunt honesty, Rogan cuts past the polished image and speeches to highlight the gaps between promises and results. What once seemed inspiring now feels empty, and the carefully crafted image is starting to crack as reality sets in.
Seen it?
No.
He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
You're doing something isn't a stunt. You have to. It's
100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, "Can I get a glass of water?" They would never do that. They would have water ready for him.
Barack Obama moves through history like someone obsessed with his own online image, constantly checking it, even as it starts to sound more like fantasy than fact. Joe Rogan didn't waste time easing in. He came out swinging, calling out the illusion like someone who just noticed the emperor isn't just exposed, he's turned it into a Netflix special.
Obama did it, where he repeated that lie about Donald Trump talking about white supremacists, saying they're very fine people on both sides. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
That's crazy. I have never seen.
Obama's image has been polished so much. It's like a mirror reflecting back old slogans: hope, change, unity, now as outdated as a 2008 meme. But Joe Rogan's not fooled. His takedown of Obama isn't just criticism, it's more like a wrecking ball, delivered with a grin. Behind the smooth talk and presidential polish, Rogan sees someone who pulled the strings, dodged the fallout, and now floats above it all like a guru with his finger on a drone button.
Must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history.
But yet promoted this idea.
James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse.
For 8 years, Obama played the role of America's philosopher King Kong voice, measured gestures, like a professor lounging in a hammock. But Joe Rogan didn't get swept up in the soothing delivery. He saw through the act, pointing to a presidency filled with decisions so shady even magicians would raise an eyebrow. Sure, Obama was labeled the cool president, but as Rogan sees it, being cool loses its charm when it's used to chill public anger while quietly pulling the strings behind the scenes.
But every other president got roasted. And one time, during the White House press correspondence thing, Obama went on stage and he roasted Trump. And one of the lines he said to Trump, he said, "I'm one thing that you'll never be," which is the president of the United States. Because this is when Trump was trying to claim that Obama's from Kenya. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
The birther stuff.
Yeah.
Which is wild. That stuff was wild.
If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Now, let's get into foreign policy, because when it came to spreading conflict with a smile, Obama turned it into a craft. He launched more drone strikes than a video game tournament, all while talking about peace like a Nobel Prize winning fire starter. Rogan didn't need to dig deep, he simply listed the countries Obama bombed, and suddenly the Peace Prize felt less like an award and more like a participation trophy from the Global Intervention Games.
About Biden.
Give me some volume and go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country.
Yeah.
We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto.
Let's not forget the Obama administration's cozy relationship with surveillance. The NSA was spying on Americans like it was prepping for a reality show Big Brother, Constitution Edition. All the while, Obama gave smooth speeches about liberty and transparency. Rogan called it out like spotting a hidden trapdoor in a magic act. Obama talked freedom on stage while wiretapping behind the scenes in his version of transparency. Everything was open except his own record. Then there was the media, which didn't just report on him, they practically idolized him. Newsrooms turned into echo chambers, repeating his lines like interns at a self-help seminar. Rogan didn't hold back, joking that journalists looked more like fans than watchdogs, smiling, nodding, tweeting feel-good quotes while real issues burned in the background. And of course, there's the myth of the economic rebound. Obama likes to claim he saved the economy, as if he tamed Wall Street with charm and spreadsheets. But Rogan exposed the reality: bailouts for the rich, scraps for everyone else. While bankers and billionaires thrived, regular people saw little change, and yet, Obama kept getting applause from folks who never even saw a raise. Rogan summed it up simply: the recovery was real for the elites. For everyone else, it was just more speeches and empty slogans.
That this government is putting forward is insane.
It is crazy. And remember when Obama was confronted about it, he's like, it's just metadata.
Metadata.
No worries.
Yeah, it's fine. Just trust us.
Just metadata.
Yeah.
We're just collecting metadata. And Snowden's like, no, I was reading people's emails.
Right.
Yeah, we all read emails.
And there was some report, I forget her name, like they were deleted. She was on her computer and you could see the file being deleted right in front of her. She took a video with her camera. I think Ed Snowden should be allowed to walk free.
Now, let's talk about Obama's post-presidency glow-up. After 8 years in office, he didn't just step away, he reinvented himself. Suddenly, he's producing documentaries, curating playlists, and narrating his own life story like he's the star of a history series about himself. Rogan couldn't help but laugh. The former president turned into a full-time content creator. Then there's the climate irony. Obama warned the world about rising seas, then went and bought oceanfront property like he never believed his own warnings. Rogan compared it to a diet coach secretly binging donuts. Preach one thing, live another. And when it came to Russia's interference in the 2016 election, Obama's team looked more like stunned spectators than defenders of democracy. Rogan pointed out the absurdity. They knew it was happening, watched it unfold, and still acted surprised when the damage was done. Obama's cyber response was basically a frustrated sigh and a formal letter. Rogan wasn't having it. He tore into the hole above the fray act, exposing a pattern of inaction dressed up as calm leadership.
And yet they repeated that lie.
Why would you place your faith in somebody who instituted a so-called Muslim ban?
I just completely lost respect for Obama when he repeated that lie a few days before the election, knowing it's false.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
This just shows how desperate they were to keep Trump out, which is wild.
Who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers?
They just felt like this is a tool that we have, and let's use it. Let's just say whatever the we have.
And then there's healthcare, the big legacy project that turned into a confusing mess. Obama promised it would be simple, affordable, and available to everyone. Instead, the country got a system so complex it felt like trying to solve a puzzle without instructions. Rogan also pointed out the border hypocrisy. The same man who spoke passionately about compassion and human rights ran an administration that built the very detention facilities later criticized. Kids in cages under Obama, it was just rebranded policy. Rogan didn't have to yell, he just held up the facts, and the polished image started to look more like standard issue politics than moral leadership. Then came the gun debate. Obama shed tears, delivered emotional speeches, but in the end, not much changed. Rogan caught the pattern: lots of heartfelt words, very little follow-through. It always seemed like the blame fell elsewhere, as if the laws just couldn't keep up with his feelings. For Rogan, it was classic Obama: great delivery, empty results.
I think the best people age the hardest. I think Obama was probably like a very idealistic young man
Oh Lord, what's going on now? Who's hollering? I can't even see it.
who really wanted to change the world. And that dude aged more than anybody.
I mean, I'm getting old, so I can't hear that well. I can't see that good.
Who aged the least? Trump. Trump just
This is something that
he just brushed that shit off his shoulders like it was nothing.
We knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that,
Joe Rogan also took aim at the cult-like following surrounding Obama, the kind that treats him like a mix of Gandhi and a Silicon Valley CEO. A single tweet about socks, and people lose their minds. Rogan tore into that with precision. Obama isn't a deep thinker. He argued he's a brand. Carefully crafted, heavily marketed, and shielded from criticism by nostalgia and glowing media coverage, he built an empire on vague promises, saw the irony, taught transparency, then punished anyone who actually tries to deliver it. From Snowden to Assange to lesser-known leakers, Obama's response was the same: shut it down. Instead of opening the blinds, he locked the windows and drew the curtains.
Obama mocked him. Remember? He did the White House press correspondence dinner, and he said,
No one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. So you can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
you see Trump in the audience going,
he made fun of
You're taunting a psycho.
Yeah.
You're taunting.
Even as a private citizen, Obama can't seem to stay out of the spotlight, dropping bits of advice like a wise uncle who hasn't noticed the room moved on. Rogan ripped into that too. The disconnected speeches, the shallow Instagram-style wisdom, the tone that suggests he's still the only grown-up in a country full of kids. To Rogan, it's not wisdom, it's branding. Obama wasn't better than the next guy, he was just better at selling the image. Rogan called it what it was, not leadership, but marketing. And for someone who once held the most powerful position on earth, Obama sure acts like he was just along for the ride. No mistakes, no responsibility, just vibes, playlists, and polished reflections. Even his memoirs, Rogan noted, feel more like self-congratulatory marathons than honest reflection. To volumes of carefully filtered praise, packed with self-awareness that somehow never lands on actual accountability. Reading them, Rogan joked, is like being stuck in a sauna with a motivational speaker who won't stop talking about himself, sweaty, long-winded, and leaving you with more questions than clarity.
Remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this. And then they go, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening.
Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect.
Rogan summed it up. Obama's greatest talent wasn't leading, it was performing. He mastered the well-timed pause, the thoughtful glance, the soaring words that sounded profound but often meant little. He built a brand so carefully that even his missteps were spun as heroic efforts. Obama became more than a man, he became a franchise. A political iPhone, sleek, pricey, and slightly less useful with every update. Meanwhile, the country is still grappling with the fallout from decisions made on his watch. But Obama stays above it all, figuratively and literally floating past the consequences with a smirk and another documentary deal. Beneath the smooth speeches, Rogan sees a legacy that struggles under real scrutiny. The shine fades, the clapping quiets, and the illusion starts to crack. The story isn't ending, it's finally telling the truth.
Watching Daniel Negreanu, the great poker player, was on Tim Pool's show, and they were talking about his shift in political ideologies, and then a lot of it came from when they were accusing Trump of saying that thing that Obama repeated falsely during the campaign. He was talking about white nationalists and neo-Nazis and saying there's very fine people on both sides.
but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
And Negreanu, he had heard the clip where Trump said it, where it was edited. He'd never seen the full thing. And then once he saw the full thing, he was like, what the f fuck? And it immediately made him realize, like, oh my God, they're lying. This is years after Daniel had known it was false. And then Obama's sitting right next to Trump and they're joking around with each other. Hey, pal, I know you're a neo-Nazi lover, you
Because the truth is, charm doesn't cover the cost history eventually demands. While Obama drifts into his Netflix era spotlight, the real-world impact of his smooth-talking presidency continues to shake the foundations. Rogan didn't just challenge the story we've all been sold, he ripped it wide open, reminding us that being likable doesn't mean being effective. From Wall Street bailouts disguised as justice to drone strikes branded as diplomacy, Obama's legacy isn't a victory, it's a well-rehearsed script starting to fall apart. And that's the uncomfortable truth most avoid. The Obama glow is fading, revealing not a hero, but a politician with great stage presence and a closet full of contradictions. Rogan didn't just roast him, he held up a mirror. And once the smoke cleared, what remained wasn't greatness, but a man who perfected the look of doing right while doing wrong. The untouchable image is gone, the myth is unraveling. And for the first time, the spotlight isn't celebrating the icon, it's exposing the illusion.